Damn it. Seattle's supposed to be a Super Bowl contender. And I know it's early, but through the first 3 games of the season, the Seattle Seahawks are absolutely in dead last in the NFL in opposing yards allowed per game. You might be asking, what might that number be? Well, it's only an astronomical 440.3 yards allowed per game. Not only has the defense been absolutely horrific, the offense hasn't been holding up its end of the bargain. In 100 second half minutes of playing football, the Seahawks have mustered an absolutely putrid 13 points, with 0 of those points coming in the third quarter, and after the half, they're averaging a measly 4 points a game. To add insult to injury, special teams hasn't been much better. Outside of punter Michael Dixon, who's amongst the league's best in punting, Jason Myers hasn't looked the same. Against Minnesota, he missed his first field goal in over 2 years, and in week 2 against the Titans, he missed a crucial extra point that played a huge part in that loss to the Tennessee Titans. Well, all those things being said, I gotta ask, is the Seahawks season already over before the season has even begun? Before I dive into it, this video is brought to you by BetUS. Have you tried the #1 sportsbook in the US yet? Well, if you haven't, now's your chance. Use our promo code, in all caps, Steezy, to receive a 125% sign-up bonus on any deposit up to $2,500 on your first sports bet today. Take real advantage of this, as you will find a deal in many places. You do have to remember, you have to be 18 to participate in sports betting, so keep that in mind moving forward. Now let's go get you guys some free money, and let's dive into it, shall we? Sorry.
Good, brother.
Roll the clip.
Here comes the, y'all don't really want it like that. Yeah. Here comes the.
As Patrick Mahomes recently said, a little adversity never hurt anybody. That much is twofold when it applies to a team that is defined by greatness or those that have championship aspirations. And what I mean by that is, for a team like the Seattle Seahawks, a team that was supposed to be at least a playoff contender, if not a Super Bowl contender, to begin the season. All great teams deal with adversity, and a lot of great teams are able to get past that adversity and get to where they're supposed to be. Now, this isn't the end of the world. The Seattle Seahawks, yes, are 1 game below 500, but as a Seattle Seahawks fan, I take solace in the fact that the Seattle Seahawks had the same record as arguably the best team in all of football in the Kansas City Chiefs. Both teams are 1-2, and this isn't the first time Seattle has gotten below 500. It happened back in 2018 when they were able to finish 10-6, and they ended with an appearance in the playoffs. While they did get ousted by the Dallas Cowboys in the wild card round, they showed plenty of resiliency. Now, this team is a little different from that team, and the NFC West is definitely by far so much tougher. And while the NFC West has always been the best division of football, that statement couldn't be any more true this season. The Rams are undefeated through 3 weeks, 3-0. The Cardinals are undefeated through 3 weeks, 3-0. The Niners have lost 1 game and are 2-1. And the Seattle Seahawks through 3 games sit in last place at 1-2. They're already in a massive hole, and the 2 games that they've lost, the 2 games that they choked away, haven't even been against division rivals. Those have been against the Vikings and the Titans, and with matchups on deck in week 4 against the Niners and in week 5 against the Rams, very realistic to picture Seattle being 1-4 through 5 games. Now, while I don't expect that to happen, a lot of changes have to be made. As I outlined in the intro, the Seahawks defense has been absolutely atrocious. The offense has been on fire in the first half, but can't seem to do anything in the second half, and special teams just isn't on the same level as it once was. This isn't an indictment on the players, it's an indictment on the coaches, on the scheme. Look, the talent is there. Jamal Adams, Bobby Wagner. On offense, there's Russell Wilson, Chris Carson, DK, and Tyler Lockett. This team, a team this loaded, a team with this much talent should not be 1-2. A team with this much talent should not look so inept on all sides of the football. This is an indictment on the players, and I'm gonna say that again. This is an indictment on Coach Pete Carroll and the rest of the coaching staff. Coach Pete, why are you still running the same scheme? While it might have worked with the LOB, you had players that were able to make up for the deficiencies in other areas. In today's day and age, or with this roster, this team isn't built like that team. The personnel just is not the same. And Jamal Adams, where have you been? Trey Flowers, why are you still starting? Against the Vikings, he allowed 4 first downs, and on 7 targets against them, he allowed 7 completions for over 90 yards. Why is he still starting? Sidney Jones, what's holding him back? Russell Wilson on the offense, there was a lot to blame to point over there, and I get it. They didn't have very many drives in the second half. What was it? They had one drive in the third quarter, but on the opportunities that they did have, they weren't able to capitalize. Yes, there were injuries on the offensive line, but are we just gonna forever blame the offensive line? And what happened to the running game? Again, we couldn't run the football. Chris Carson with only 12 carries. Alex Collins has looked very explosive. He's looked like a capable number 2 option at running back, and yet he's not getting very much run. What is going on? DJ Reed, for the first time in his Seahawks career, looked absolutely lost playing on the outside as he was getting torched by the likes of Adam Thielen and Justin Jefferson. I get it. Those guys are one of the best duos at wide receiver in all of the National Football League, but to absolutely expose the Seahawks defense in the manner that they did is just absolutely unacceptable. The offense, yes, like I said, they were on fire, but Tyler Lockett essentially disappeared. Gerald Everett and Will Dissly, they got involved, but man, let me go back to the defense. Actually, the screen game, it worked for Derrick Henry and the Titans, and the Vikings took a concept from what the Titans were doing, and they were able to apply it with the backup running back. Let's not forget, Dalvin Cook didn't even play in this game. It was a backup running back who mustered almost 200 yards on the ground and receiving. For Seattle to allow a backup running back to run all over them, to allow that receiving duo to just torch them all day, they showed absolutely no resistance. They couldn't get off the field on third down. The offense couldn't convert on third down. They were punting the ball so much that in comparison to how many times the Vikings were punting, it looked ugly. I think the Minnesota Vikings had as many third down completions as the Seattle Seahawks had punts. And Minnesota, they looked absolutely terrific. Kirk Cousins looked like an MVP quarterback. And for Seattle to allow that to happen, it's just, I don't know. How do you even fathom that? Coach Pete Carroll, I'm not saying he has to go, but if changes aren't made moving forward, and if the Seattle Seahawks aren't able to win at least one of the next 2 matchups, then this season could already be over. The Seahawks simply can't start 1-4 and still expect to bounce back and make the playoffs, not in the NFC West, not in the NFC, when all these teams are absolutely loaded and stacked. Like I said, they do still deserve the benefit of the doubt. They've done this before. They still have Russell Wilson, a top 3 quarterback in his prime, who is still without an interception through the first games of the season. But the Seahawks defense, like I mentioned in my last video against the Vikings, the Seahawks defense has yet to pick off a pass. So not only does the defense look bad, but they just lack playmakers that are able to force turnovers. When you have a guy on the back end that can force turnovers, that can intercept the football, that can make plays on the ball, able to make up for a lot of deficiencies and cover up mistakes, erase mistakes, and cover up different weaknesses. Now, the pass rush was supposed to be a strength, but for whatever reason, guys have been super inconsistent. Outside of Darrell Taylor against the Vikings, there was absolutely no pressure from Carlos Dunlap. Kerry Hyder was knocked out with a concussion. Alton Robinson was barely on the field. Rasheed Green was okay. And LJ Collier has been inactive for the first couple of games. But that secondary was absolutely awful. I haven't even gotten into Ugo Amadi. And so with all these issues that are plaguing the Seattle Seahawks, I have a hard time seeing this team making it to the Super Bowl. And now, while I had high hopes, as did the rest of the 12s going into the season, I got to temper expectations until I see more from the coaching staff. Maybe Ken Norton Jr. got to go. Trey Flowers, he has to step down. Either Seattle has to release him or lower him down on the depth chart. Can we see some Sidney Jones, please? Because I don't think it gets any worse than Trey Flowers. Now, on offense, where do I even start? For them to be able to sustain drives, I don't know what is so hard about that. How do you come out guns a-blazing on fire in the first half only to completely die down and look as anemic and as pathetic as the Falcons, the Jets, the Jaguars? This team should never be mentioned in the same sentence along the likes of those teams. That's just not right. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Is the Seahawks season already over, or is there still hope? Let me know what needs to be done. Well, that marks the end of this video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Stay tuned for more content. Again, don't forget to use our link down below. Make an account, use our promo code, make some extra money today. Don't forget to hit that subscribe. Follow us on other socials at Steezy Smith. All glory to God. And Steezy out. Again, this video is going to be dedicated to Mr. Todd Nas. While that concludes this video, we have loads of other content. You don't have to stop watching there. Other content on our channel homepage, as well as our social media platforms. And again, don't forget to hit that subscribe button for us. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Nothing but love, and Steezy out.